Real estate is the basis of our whole economy, savings,
Absolutely.
investment. So I sell long-term ownership, and it's a slow growth investment. It's stable.
Yeah.
Make sure you get some. That's all I would say.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of CREB Cast. Today, I am very thrilled to be joined by my good friend, Greg Houston. Thank you for joining us today, Greg. How are you doing?
I am well, thank you.
That's good. I know you've been in the industry for a while, but I'm going to let you tell us how long you've been in the business.
Well, I started in 1972 as a young transplant from Saskatchewan. In those days, I actually didn't get licensed until January of 1973, but I sold a home in something like November or December of 72, which
Wow.
was my initiation into the, or baptism into the real world. And I was fortunate to start with a very good local company, Bamlet Real Estate.
Nice.
I felt lucky to be accepted into the fold there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a good firm. And a couple of years after that, the fellow who got me into Bamlet and another person who was a big producer there started another company called Aminex Realty. They were the Remax of the 70s. Anyway, within 3 years, I think there were 75 people with the company, and we had 3 offices. And after Aminex was sold in 1977, I didn't really want to work for the new owner, so I started my own company.
Mhm.
And it was called Cosmic Realty. I was a bit of a hippie from the 60s and 70s. So with 5 people, we kind of just struck off on our own, and eventually I had about 28 salespeople, and quite honestly, I didn't feel that managing others was my thing in life. One of the things that I learned at Bamlet and early on was that investing in real estate was also a little more empowering than being a real estate agent only.
Mhm.
So I had invested in various properties and had some great clients who were doing so. And those early days were not all easy. In 74, the oil embargo came in, and then after I started Cosmic, I mean, we were on a rocket ride
Yeah.
for a few years, but in 1981 or 2, everybody was jumping out of tall buildings trying to figure out what to do next. And
Mhm.
I had some personal guarantees that sort of took me out. At the time, I changed my name to a little more stable incarnation. From Cosmic Realty, I changed the name to Houston and Associates Realty.
Yeah, and that's where it sits today.
And
With
that
Houston
is
Associates.
actually our trade name is HoustonRealty.ca, which I thought I was really ahead of my time when I came up with an internet trade name.
Right.
But anyways,
Greg, I'm really curious to know when you sold your first house, how much was it?
I believe it was a home on 37th Street facing the Tsuut'ina Nation.
Yeah.
A fellow from CFCN was the person that brought me to Calgary, more or less. And I can't remember what that price was. But my first home that I bought was in Mount Pleasant, and I paid $18,000 for it.
Wow.
In 1972, 10.5% interest rates. And a fellow, Kent Lyle, is someone that's known here at the board, but his brother was a lawyer, Rick Lyle. And I remember him looking at me like, I was 22 years old, and he was kind of like, you don't know what you're getting into here.
Right.
You know the implications of signing this mortgage? And I was like,
yeah,
kind of afraid, but anyways, went ahead with it and turned out to be a great thing for me.
It's a big undertaking, especially when you're 22. I understand that $18,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money right now, but it was, comparable to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's not much different than nowadays. I mean, at the time, I was making $600 a month,
Yeah.
renting cars out at the airport. That's what got me to Calgary. And, my PIT was 180, and I had two friends living with me, and
Yeah.
I paid for taxes and the additional costs on the place, but they were kind of paying the mortgage. So, I mean, that's how I got into ownership being
Yeah.
an empowering thing. So,
Right.
anyway.
So you joined the Calgary Real Estate Board when we were downtown on
Oh, yeah.
Fifth Avenue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've always been in the kind of service business my whole life. And one of the PJ Toole and Cody people enrolled me into serve on the marketing committee or some such thing, advertising at the board. And I wrote some letter and I was acknowledged. And then someone asked me to join the board in 1987. I did so.
That's fantastic. Were you a board member? Did you go on to be the president of the board,
Oh, yeah.
as they were called at that time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Did you enjoy that role?
It took 2 years, but in 1989, I was president of the board, and I served with some pretty stellar people at the time. But, at that time, we had the Competition Bureau looking at the business, and, that was a big element. And
Yeah.
the board office downtown was renovated at the time. Frank Johns was going out and Ron Esch was coming in.
Right.
And there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I was basically 87, 88, 89, and 90. After that, I served 1 year on the Alberta Real Estate Association board. Again, when the fallout of the 80s came, I kind of had to focus on the stuff that was dragging me down a little bit, and went on to try and solve all my issues there.
Right.
It took me about 10 years. It's been an interesting period, to see all the changes in our industry.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Again, we used to file our listings that came out every day on the green sheets.
Yes.
By hand.
Yes.
With clipboards and,
Right.
Then we got into catalogs, and we got into the Decorator 3.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey.
And again, to have a computer where you can pretty much pull up anything and everything anytime.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we have to be mindful of a lot of fake news on there, so it's got to be discerning about what you're doing. But it's amazing the progress that the business has made.
Yes. When obviously I haven't been in it as long as you have, but when I first came in, the listing contract and the purchase contract used to be a 1-page, 8.5 by 11 form.
Well, we tried to simplify those things in those days, and again, it's kind of gone from that to whatever we got nowadays.
Yeah.
It has also increased the professionalism in our business.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
my start was basically selling residential homes. Then I got into, investment properties myself and with others. And our office basically became, known as more commercial oriented business. And I've always been a little bit on the fringe of organized real estate, because there are a lot of big firms, but the big boys, nobody wanted to be board members. So I had that feeling that I was on the fringe of things. I did serve on the original commercial committee.
Oh, neat.
At the board. And
do you like the commercial side of things, or do you like the residential?
Well, I like everything. I mean, my whole life's been about real property in some ways.
Right.
But I mostly am doing leasing and management, commercial management of some properties for others and myself.
Yeah.
So I honor them, and I'm thankful to have them. And my son is now doing the administration in our office,
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
hoping at some point to pass him the baton, although I'm never going to retire. I just say I'm going to tire, but
Yeah.
have to see how that goes.
Knowing you the way that I know you, first of all, I want to say it does not look like you've been in the business for 53 years. You look like you're still not 53 years old yourself. And I was going to say that knowing you the way I know that you probably enjoy the residential more because you're such a people person. And there's probably a lot of joy in finding that right home for your clients and who have probably become friends over the years. I'm sure you're doing a lot of generational sales.
I've sold 3 generations in one family that I can think of. I have had a lot of life experiences. What got me to Calgary was a life-altering event back in my home province, and kind of came here, seeking a purpose. My mother had been in real estate in Saskatoon and did well, so I kind of just fell into it when I got here. And I've served on a lot of different committees, Uncles at Large, Salvation Army, OCO 88, the Real Estate Board. So I always wanted to create good things in the world. My initials are GH, and through a lot of personal development and introspection, I came up with the fact that stands for generosity and honor.
Oh, that's lovely.
And it also stands for good human. And I'm basically at this point in my life just trying to create goodness and happiness in the world for myself and others.
Well, I can vouch for the fact that you are a good human. I've known you for a number of years, and you've shown me nothing but respect and support, and it's always a joy to have a conversation with you.
I'm probably not as extroverted as you might think. Myers-Briggs, test, I'm basically an XSFJ, which is, the X is, you're on the cusp of extrovert, introvert. So I've gone through some pretty dark holes, and I've looked at my, the 2 most asked questions in the world are, who am I and what is the meaning of life? Well, during my 20s and 30s, I did a lot of work to kind of figure out what I was doing here. So, I don't know. It has helped my sales career. I had to learn to be a salesman. I wasn't, I just was a person that was very energetic, but had some physical problems to deal with at a young age, and had to go from being a grade 12 athlete of the year at my high school in Saskatoon to how am I going to continue to manage my well-being as a person.
Oh, wow.
So it took a while to figure it out. Anyway.
Without knowing the specifics, it just shows your tenacity, being a grade 12 student and going from somewhere like, being the top athlete and then going through the challenges that you faced. Good for you. I was going to say, as far as real estate is concerned, you've ridden a lot of ebbs and flows. Was there ever a time where you were just like, I'm just going to throw in the towel, I can't do this anymore?
Well, what time is it now? Oh, just kidding. No. Well, maybe after this interview.
No, please don't.
No. I'm just kidding. No, I've never, again, after being in the business this is year 54, I'm not going to, I've tried other businesses and lost money at most of them. I tried the restaurant business. We, got into some other things with people, but most empowering thing for me has been the successes that I've had in real estate, and there were some that weren't, but most people that are successful in any business have had ups and downs.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's persistence and resilience to come back and stick handle through the nuances.
I think going through the ups and downs makes us better people. It makes us stronger. We're more experienced. We kind of know how to juggle the challenges as they come up. So, I mean, nobody really wants challenges, but at the end of the day, they do make us who we are.
Yeah, for sure.
Has technology been an enhancement to your business, or has it been a detriment? Introduction of AI and all
Oh
of the
no,
other things that are going on out there.
if somebody said it hasn't helped their business, I'd be awfully surprised.
Right.
I mean, it making us more efficient and it calling us to a bigger place.
Hmm.
Again, I think I mentioned to you, I've got AI called actual intelligence, but you know, you need to be savvy with these things nowadays, or you're going to be left in the dust.
Exactly.
About I feel a little naked with the artificial intelligence and chat GBT and everything. I'm still old school. I like to write things, and I
Yes.
feel there's a transformation from the heart to the lead on the pencil, but a lot of good out of the changes that have come in our business through computers. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I still, when we go into a meeting, I always feel like the oldest person in the room because I'm the only one that doesn't have a laptop and I'm still writing things down.
Oh my.
That's just the way that I do things as well.
I like it keeps me current, I guess, all the stuff I got, but there's a lot of distractions and
Yeah.
obstacles because of artificial intelligence too. So
Absolutely.
it sucks up a lot of energy to keep it current, and
Yes, it does.
with all the fake people or fake things around, you kind of have to watch yourself.
Yeah. You really have to look at
No
the
more
content.
writing checks. People,
No. No.
it's kind of,
Yeah. In a way, I mean, that when AI is used for good, it's fantastic. But when
Yeah.
it's used for bad, it
disastrous.
can be disastrous and it
Yeah.
changes the trajectory of somebody's life, depending on which way it goes. In your years of being in the business, I'm sure that you've encountered many different events that have happened. Is there a transaction or a client, without getting into any specifics, that stands out in your mind where you walked away from that thinking, I'm never going to forget this transaction, or I'm never going to forget these people because it was challenging or because it was funny, or it just, for whatever reason, it stood out in your mind?
Probably the more negative, like I've had a lot of positive experiences in it. So maybe some of the negative experiences, I mean, I've had to go to the inquiry committee at the board, disputes with other realtors.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not a thing I would recommend for anybody. And I have to deal with things on there's more legal issues nowadays. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's
There are
definitely.
a lot of positive ones. And when you ask me that question, I think of some of the goo that I've had to handle.
Yeah. Well,
It's
also
more-
being the broker owner of your company also puts you in a different kind of a role than most people.
For sure. Lots of questions nowadays about what is the right thing to do.
Right.
When you ask me about that, again, I think of one of the most important or memorable things that I can think of for me in my involvement with CREB was in 1987, we were creating the foundation at CREB, and I happened to be at the board table when it was voted on and accepted, and Karen Gammy and Ellen Mendham were at the table, and Karen Gammy was sort of the head honcho, so I walked over to her with $100 bill in my pocket, and I said, I'm the first donor.
No, that's
So
fantastic.
Kind of like it that I can say I helped to create something that has turned out to be a very community asset, a big community asset for Calgary. And
Yeah.
I think it's great what they're doing.
Were you aware that we gave away $1 million to the Calgary Dream Center?
Oh yeah, I donate monthly, so I'm kind of on the mailing list of what's going on. And
so thank you for starting that. And,
well, I didn't start it,
being
but
a part of it.
I was just at the right place at the right time, which is really what real estate's all about. Is timing is everything.
Is that why on our charitable foundation wall your plaque is right at the very top, because
That
you
is
were the
supposedly the reason.
first donor?
It was transferred from downtown to here, and they left it in the same place, so I'm thankful.
Well, thank you very
in
much.
a way, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Side note, but anyway.
Well, thank you. Those small little things make a big difference.
True.
I was going to ask you, when you were involved with CREB and on the volunteer side, how did that enhance your business and your relationships with your colleagues?
When I got into the real estate or, got accepted into the board, I mean, it was mid 80s kind of thing. I got involved with the marketing committee or whatever. And, I was coming off a lot of financial stress trying to work through the investments that I had. I had a MIC, an investment, mortgage investment company, and owed money, different things. But it kind of gave me my mojo back in a sense. Like I felt I had failed because the first 10 years of my business were just a rocket ride to the moon, and did really well for myself. Young person, got married, blah, blah, blah. And when some of those things started falling apart, fear of failure definitely showed up. But anyway, being on the board with other positive influencers, John Fraser for one, him and I were both kind of in the same, mode.
Yes.
And Dorothy Larson, and it just empowering. Ted Zaharko, lots of very solid people. That lifted me up a little bit, and I would say that it probably cost me some money to be involved, in a sense, because 1989 was one of the best years ever for real estate, and I was the president of the board, and I probably didn't have as much time to enhance my own personal business, but at any rate, I had a lot of fun with it, and
probably met some people.
Met lots of others, and it kind of got me in a place to, when I finished with all my service to CREB and area, I basically started, back into serious investing myself. I'd solved all my financial guarantees and moved on to bigger and better things.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is there any advice that you would share with any newcomers?
Yeah, at Bamlet Real Estate, they had a sign up at the coffee station, and it was a picture of an old man with a cane, and it basically said, "The person who waited for real estate prices to drop." And I remember that picture. So to me, I sell ownership and accountability. So that's kind of the flavor of my 2 cents worth. There's a lot of people that came into real estate during the 80s, and they were selling homes with Coke bottles for down payments and flipping and spinning and, that whole MO. And that's not me. I'm a long-term, real estate is the basis of our whole economy.
Yes.
Savings,
absolutely.
Investment. So I sell long-term ownership, and it's a slow growth investment. It's stable. Make sure you get some. That's all I would say. I mean, I have a property that I lived in that I bought in 1998. It's a fourplex in the Beltline, and I call it Heart Lodge. When I was living there, I put up a teepee in the backyard, and 2 and 7 interviewed me, Gil Tucker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To say, well, what are you doing with that? Well, I love Indigenous humor, and there were a lot in the Beltline. There were quite a few Indigenous people around.
Yeah.
I loved that kind of essence of that.
Do you still have the fourplex?
Yeah, I still have it.
That's excellent.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to build something on the back of the lot, and my son's going to live in it. So that's like a completion that I sort of came up with when I was living there for a time, but it's fully rented right now.
That is really
including to some midwives that are related to the Indigenous community. So it's kind of a nice feeling
really
about
nice.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I called it Heart Lodge because teepees are known as lodges, and I'm a person of heart. That's kind of where I came up with that name.
Oh, I love that. That's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you coming in. I know you're really busy. I appreciate you taking the time to come in and speak to us today. And maybe we can do this again as we go along.
I often wanted to leave a legacy, but I'm just focusing on being present for the time that I'm in, wherever it is. So that's kind of,
Enjoying the
Yeah.
moment.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you for doing this. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for another episode of CREB Cast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like to be a guest, please reach out to us and we would love to sit down and have a conversation with you. Thank you and have a great day.